Hello and welcome to this new episode of Print is Back. I am Jacques Michiels. Today we are being hosted on the Print Island studios again. And today we delve into the world of digital photo books and unique print products. And Andreas and we are very happy and that we are joined by Hayco van Gaal. He's the freshly appointed Executive Vice President of Sales at RPI. But of course, he will give some explanation on that a bit further. And they are an international player positioning themselves as a supplier of truly fully personalized books and brochures. But we'll explore how RPI identifies opportunities, tackles challenges, and positions itself in a market that is constantly and very quickly evolving. So, yeah, we're going to have a chat about how they are keeping print on the map today. So welcome, Hayco.
Thank you, Jacques and Andreas. Nice meeting you on this Tuesday morning. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Hello, Andreas, also.
Hello, Jacques. Hello, Hayco. Good to see you, Hayco, again. I think it's a couple of months ago, almost a year ago, that we saw each other live in Copenhagen, right?
Yeah, that's indeed almost a year ago. Good to
Yeah.
see you.
Time is running. And congrats, you made a big decision. So you changed totally the perspective, because I think Canon, the company you worked before for, is since a long time a supplier for RPI, the print service provider or a solution provider you're working for today. Now you have to fulfill what you promised in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, that's kind of correct. Although Canon is not a very long time supplier for RPI. RPI for the last, I would say, more than a decade is relying a lot on another technology, a liquid toner technology from another supplier, from HP. And since 18 months, we've also implemented now some inkjet technology, which is indeed Canon, the IX platform, which is now being deployed in the US plants and also here in the Eindhoven plant. So that's correct. And yes, now I see it from the other side. So that's an interesting perspective.
Was that challenging you? Because I think it's a big step to switch from a huge technology supplier to a service provider in the print business. And I'm so happy that you are still seem to be a big fan of printed media, right?
Yes, for sure. And of course, in all the considerations that I did, leaving the industry would also have been one of the options. But in the end, I think I love print. I like print. And for that reason, I've decided also to stay within this beautiful world. And indeed, going from a big OEM supplier, world market leader, specifically also in high-speed printing and production printing, to the other side, to a global print service provider, and a beautiful company, RPI, which I know already for a long time.
Okay.
If I may add, Andreas, I may add, of course, RPI Europe. Their home base is in Eindhoven in Holland, and Hayco was telling me earlier on that he goes to work on his bike now. That is also a bit of convenience, for him as well. But maybe Andreas, if you can move a little bit to the side, so we have you better in position in the shot. Thank you very much. But Hayco, for our audience also to understand. So I think you had about 25 or 26 years at executive positions at Canon Europe. So you know all of that side of the industry. So and now with RPI, you present yourselves as a supplier of unique photo books. I think that's one of your key products. That's a strong positioning, of course. But where do you see the biggest opportunity today to truly make a difference in that market?
There's a lot happening in this marketplace, of course, and there's many opportunities. I always try to focus on the opportunities. And within our company, within RPI, we often say we bring ideas to life. So there's many people in the world who have ideas. That can be the corporate companies, that can be the creators, the big brands, which have certain ideas about bringing their ideas to life. And in the conversations and the partnerships that we have with these companies, we have that dialogue, and we try to together to help them bringing these ideas to life on a global scale. And that actually means that you go from an idea to a physical product, a personalized physical product in many cases. And that's a beautiful opportunity. And with all the things happening in the world right now, and we can discuss about that later, but all the integrations that we see, for example, Canva integrating in the big AI platforms like Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT. You see a kind of creativity is being democratized. It's getting more and more easier for people and also for creatives to design things, to make things in the way that they want it to be. And the next step, of course, is to bring that to life, to make that a physical product. So that means manufacturing the physical product, but that also means distributing that product on a global scale in a high quality, but also in a way that it is sustainable for our planet. And looking also at our global footprint, we have quite some manufacturing capabilities in the US, also here in Europe. And next to that, we work together with some partners all over the world to make sure that we can do that in a very stable way. The opportunity, you ask, what is the opportunity? I think the opportunity is that this creativity is getting more and more room to be there and to be transferred into physical products. And left or right, these physical products still have to be produced. So AI is changing many, many things in our industry. But in the end, the products still have to be produced. Just like the plumber and the electrician, you still need them to fix things at your home. Products have to be produced. And I think RPI in the last years, also due to big investments that we have done in people, in processes, in equipment, in IT, we are really a very solid and reliable player in making sure that we deliver these products every day, hundreds of thousands or even millions that we deliver to our customers every day. That's the opportunity to keep doing that in a reliable and consistent way.
What didn't really surprise me, but I thought was interesting, because, and coming back to you, to your question, Andreas, also on a personal level of Hayco, you told us, you've been with Canon for many, many years, for decades even. For you personally, Hayco, you say you love print, of course. Do you see for yourself, and also for yourself with RPI, the growth path? Because it's also in the topic of this discussion that we try to counter, like many say, print is on the downhill and it's nearly dead and so forth. We take it from another angle, and we say print is back, and it opens up, it's different, but it opens up new possibilities. For you personally, what made you choose print? Are you really in love with print, or what was the trigger?
Yes, I am. And the change now, and I'm just here for 3 weeks, but the first 3 weeks were really amazing, and meeting a lot of people internally, but also partners and customers. The big change now is that typically in my Canon life, I was talking with print service providers, with the big global players also in that area, who were using Canon technology to produce their products. Now I'm actually one step further in the value chain, talking with the brands and the creatives and the corporates, which in the end deliver the ideas, and in the end also the personalized or printed or POD products. And with that, and that's completely new for me, I'm in conversations about how to do that and how to be creative and how to make sure that these products keep their value, and not only for people from our age, but also for the young generation of people. And there you clearly see that high value personalized products absolutely have a growth potential for the next 10 years. My reference is always my own children. They are not at all interested in print as such. So if you talk about informational print like bank statements and insurance company invoices, they don't even open the envelope if there is an envelope at our home. But if you talk about a photo book, then you see that it attracts their attention, and they take time to look in the photo album. And that is just one example of a very high value personalized print product. And I think that's the opportunity, Jacques, that market is growing a lot. And that market is also an attractive market for the young generation of people, where you will clearly get that split between the lower value standardized products, which still have to be produced in a very efficient way, operational excellence, big factories, that will continue. And there we will see, of course, that the run lengths go down and also personalization becomes a topic. But on the other hand, you have the very high volume, per definition, personalized products like a photo album. And that is also the business that we as RPI are in. And we can do both. We can also produce flyers, brochures, business cards, and we can do that in a very efficient way. But we are specialized really in this high-end part of the market, the high-value products.
So it's all about manufacturing premium products. Maybe you can correct me if I see that wrong, but I thought when I screened RPI a little bit to get prepared for our conversation, I had 4 lessons to learn, 4 business lessons. And one is, it's all about RPI is not a typical print service provider anymore. I think you have a strong focus on process, not just on products. You see automation as a solution, and sustainability and efficiency go hand in hand. That's also very important. And at least it's exactly what you mentioned. It's all about flexible systems and solutions for a volatile demand, because I can imagine that you even run one copy and also higher volume in once. And maybe you can make that a little bit transparent. So am I right in my interpretation or describing what is the beauty of RPI, or do you have to add something?
Yeah, you mentioned quite some things, and I think as you get them from the website, they must be true. Automation indeed is a key topic, Andreas. So there we have invested also a lot in the last years in processes, but also in people and in IT, because we work for these very big brands and we want to make them successful. And in order to do so, you have to make life easy for them. So you have to make sure that their processes, their creative processes, connect seamlessly to our manufacturing and logistic and distribution processes all over the world. And that sounds like a no-brainer, but I think we all know that that is not an obvious thing. And in that area, we have invested a lot to make that journey as easy and as reliable as possible for our customers. So that's an element you mentioned. Another element you mentioned is sustainability. That's one of our top 3 agenda topics every day, sustainability. And we talk a lot about it. Also, the industry talks a lot about it. But we also have to be very critical there, because there's a difference between talking and living sustainability. I'm sure that legislation, specifically in Europe, will fuel the whole sustainability thing in the coming years. But on the other hand, it's also about mindset, because yes, there will be KPIs. Yeah, there will be standardized KPIs. But in the end, it starts with the mindset of the executive team of a company. If you believe in becoming a more sustainable company, and do that also together with your own employees, but also with your customers. And we do have some big brands, some big customers who have sustainability as a number 1 agenda topic. Mm-hmm. And together with them, we try to come to the right way of working. And of course, we look at everything. It's scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions. Specifically in the scope 1 and 2 emissions, we have done a lot of efforts in the last years to reduce them with more than 50%. But we all know that the biggest emission, of course, or the biggest impact is in the scope 3, specifically talking about paper, talking about the distribution. And also there you have to work together in the ecosystem, for example, with the paper mills, to see what we can do there. Within our company, within RPI, sustainability is not a thing that we have to do. It's a thing that we want to do. And we want to do that together with our customers. On the one hand, for our planet, but also, of course, for the people, and the people also here in the company.
Of course. I was also wondering because for the viewers and the listeners on our channel, many of them are also PSPs. And yeah, we all have those questions about how difficult is it, and what do we have to do in the future to go ahead and to be prosperous in the line of field that we're in. But it's a very competitive landscape. So also for RPI, I guess, in consultancy, we often hear about the big four or the big five. And in the graphic industry also, we have similar big fives or big fours, like Sewe, Albili, Photobox, Group, Shutterfly, Snapfish, Smart Photo, Fotofabriek, all of those. But how does RPI and you think you can position yourself against these heavyweights now that you're on board?
Yeah, I think some things are already mentioned. Our priority item, sustainability, and the fact that we really live it, I think it is a crucial differentiator. Our global presence and our manufacturing capabilities, not only manufacturing, but also distribution and logistics all over the world. Many players claim they are global players, but I think there are not too many real global players. And we do have global customers, so you really need these global capabilities to really deliver every day. And that's, I think, a third topic. Take again the example of producing a photo book. Producing one photo book is not so difficult, but producing 10,000 of photo books every day for your customers with a very strict SLA of delivering within 48 or 72 hours, there are not too many companies in this world who can do it. I think some of the brands you just mentioned, Jacques, are also very, very good photo book producers, especially in Germany. You have a big player you mentioned. There, the focus is also on their own brand. So they want to make their own brand successful with their own portal. RPI differentiates a bit, I think, in that area also by not focusing on our own brand RPI, but we focus on making the other brand successful. So the customers, the photo book customers that we work for, we want to make them and their brand successful. Yeah, that's what we do with a lot of energy and a fantastic team also here in Eindhoven every day.
So is that famous flow strategy or flow company strategy where you have that fully integrated production stream? Because it's a bold strategy, of course, and where if you have this strategy, where do you see the biggest challenge heading into 26?
Yeah, I think the flow is also referring to the flow in our factory here. We don't position ourselves as a printing company or as a company who is very interested in print technology or finishing technology. Of course we are, but in the end, we are a flow company because the whole process is a flow. And at the end of the day, we have to make sure that this flow delivers the 10,000 or the 20,000 personalized photo albums every day again. So you can only do that if you act as a flow company. The whole flow from a consumer designing a photo book until the last step in the supply chain that it has to be delivered at his home, that whole flow has to work. You are invited both to come here in the coming weeks and have a look at our flow, because it's incredible to see how many process steps you have, and also the alignment between the process steps, also in terms of automation, to make it work. That's really Champions League, I would say, and for that reason, it's not so easy also for competitors to go into this market.
Well, I might take you up on that invitation because I'm not far away,
Yeah, you're more than welcome. And
Eindhoven is not far. Perfect.
Now, I have a very last question, but for me, a very important one. Do you really think that it's a big advantage to be based in the Netherlands? Because for decades, I admire the Dutch people for their creativity, and you mentioned creativity a lot in your answers and comments, because the creativity is also in Dutch in the Netherlands related to use digital printing technologies for decades and also to create print in a very smart and creative design. They have a creative design approach, which is really unique worldwide, I think. So do you feel the same, or do you say, well, for me, it's commodity?
No, I think you have an important point there, Andreas. So if I think about the Netherlands and also the culture of the Netherlands, it is creative, but it is also very much entrepreneurial. And I think that combination is a very strong one, and also makes the Netherlands and Eindhoven a very attractive place to have your headquarters of Europe. Specifically, Eindhoven, I think, is also important to mention. That's not a random choice. Also, Eindhoven, if you talk about innovation, if you talk about creativity, we are here in the middle of the Brainport region, the high-tech campus, all the things happening around ASML and some other big tech companies here in 5 square kilometers. So if you talk about the labor market, trying to get good people, people with a good background, universities, they're all here. And that helps us also a lot in making sure that we get the good people, but also making sure that within that ecosystem, we have the right connections, the right partnerships, the right people to talk to. And for that reason, I think the Netherlands, and specifically Eindhoven, is a very, very convenient area for us to do our business, and also to keep innovating in the next 5 to 10 years.
Cool. Interesting. So it makes a lot of sense to visit you in your new office, and which sounds a little bit that it's also a home for you, right?
Yes, it's like Jacques already said, it's 2 kilometers from my home. And for that reason, if we have no snow or no rain, I jump on my bicycle, and in 8 minutes I'm here at the company.
Yeah. No remote for Hayco.
No.
But Hayco, maybe also from my side, maybe focusing a little bit more on you personally and your evolution. You've been freshly appointed executive vice president of sales.
Without the executive, Jacques, because otherwise I have to go back for my salary package. But no, vice president sales Europe. Yeah.
I'll repeat it then twice or 3 times.
Yeah,
so
thanks for that.
Yeah,
thanks for
I'll
that.
help you. No, but just all kidding aside, as a vice president of sales, what is your personal goal? How do you see? Because you said you're now 3 weeks in the job. Where do you want to be? Let's say by the end of next year. What are your personal goals for your journey?
So for me, the people element is the most important one. To be part of the team, and also towards the future, to keep the team motivated for the opportunities and challenges that we will get. Secondly, there is a business opportunity, because I think we have some ambitions to grow our business in Europe. We have some ideas around that. I always believe that also with your current customers, there is an opportunity always there to increase the share of wallet, to discuss about new products, to discuss about differentiated products, lay flat photo albums, just as an example. It's a beautiful product that can easily be added to the portfolio. So getting the right conversations with our current customers to see how we can expand our business in a way that is good for our customers and for RPI. Secondly, we are looking for some new business, and the new business is also it can also be connected, for example, to the publishing world, because also in the publishing world, people are producing books. And of course, we don't want to go into the competition with the Amazons of this world. But also in the publishing business, there is a clear need for high value books. And we are looking now into this whole ecosystem to see where we can play a role, and with which partners, with which publishers we have to connect in order to make that happen. And an important element in that whole consideration is that we typically have, as I just mentioned, we have now our peak season. So the next 4 to 5 weeks are kind of crazy in terms of what we have to produce, in terms of books, in terms of flyers, brochures, cards. We're working 24 hours a day, 3 shifts. So if you look at that from a 12 months perspective, it's not really efficient sometimes, because in March, in April, we are not working 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you don't have that peak every month,
We don't
right?
have that peak, but we do have the manufacturing capabilities and the capacity. So what we are looking for is also businesses that can help us a bit more in spreading the business and spreading the volume over the 12 months of the year. So we are not looking for 2 or 3 additional customers for the peak season, because that's already quite challenging. But we want to have a dialogue with current customers, but also with new customers, to see how we can have a more evenly spread production over the year. And the good thing is, if you talk with the creatives, if you talk with the brands, you can also discuss with them about promotional activities. There's a Father's Day, there's a Valentine's Day, there's always moments in the year that you can discuss about promotions. And these promotions in the end then bring volume and bring volume here in the factory.
Yeah, new business basically. Yeah. Oh, so it's a big challenge, but I guess that's why you're here, or one of the reasons why you're there. Good to hear. 3 weeks in the job, so I guess you will have your hands full on to get those new customers in as well. Maybe for my last and final question, I wanted to zoom in a little bit in on the customer as well. I think, as you said, you work for big brands, so that's B2B. In the B2C sector, are you also addressing directly customers that through some of your platforms?
Yeah, so a big part of the business is indeed white label as a fulfiller and a partner for these big brands. But we do also have our own e-commerce channel, which is Blurb. Blurb is an acquisition from a couple of years ago. It's part now of the RPI group. Blurb is a self-publishing platform where we give creatives really the opportunity to design, publish, including ISBN number, but also distribute and sell and distribute their books. Okay. And that's also a big part of our business. Very interesting business. That's also new for me. All the creatives which are part of that ecosystem, and that's actually the way we have, let's say, the direct contact to the creatives, and it's really nice to see. Also these creatives, they still want to work with Adobe, with InDesign. We have all kind of plugins which plug into the Blurb world to enable them to put their creativity in a fantastic, beautiful, high quality book. And they can produce that, of course, as they are as Blurb is part of the RPI group. We produce that in one of our factories.
That's
okay, because I know Blurb for a longer time already, and it's a cool company, very cool approach. So it's California based, let's say it like that.
Yeah, maybe for that reason it's cool. Yeah.
But just a last thing, in a former LinkedIn discussion, we already touched upon it. I mean, that consumer, or the future consumer, the Generation Z and the millennials, they do show renewed appreciation for luxury and unique personal crafted products. Maybe also like a photo book with a longer shelf life at home, and that you keep at home, like you explained with your daughters or your kids. How do you want to respond to this trend, and do you agree to the trend that you can engage further with these promising target groups as well?
I think it's crucial to stay connected with Gen Z and millennials, because in the end, that's our future, and that's also the future of our industry. And I sometimes have these conversations at the dinner at the table in the evening with my own children. As mentioned before, I think they don't have that love for print like we have it. We are grown up in a world where print was a kind of crucial element of reading your bank statements, everything, books, manuals, and they come from a different angle. They grow up in a world with an iPhone in their hands. So it's really about which emotions can you connect to which products. And I think, again, there the photo book is a fantastic example, but all you see also many companies now popping up, creating apps for different reasons. Travel apps, for examples. There are fantastic travel apps. Also, with some of the customers we work for have these travel apps. these apps are created to help people with their travel to Thailand or to Australia. They make pictures every day. They write some short notes every day about what they did and which beautiful parks they visited. That has been the initial reason for designing such an app. Now, these apps, in many cases, also have a print button. So in the end, after your holiday, you can say, well, make a photo album. And you get a fantastic photo album of your trip. And again, that was not the initial goal of developing that app. But in the end, if these apps are used by 20 or 30 million people, and only 1% of these people or 2% creates a photo album, that's a huge volume. And I think that's a typical example of the connection also with the younger generation, where physical products and print really have an added value. And also for the next 10 years have an added value, for sure.
Fantastic. On that note, for me, basically, I don't have any more questions. Maybe you, Andreas, do you have any questions left for Hayco?
I'm fine for the moment. And thank you, Hayco, for that great conversation and for sharing all those insights. Because I think for me, it's important. We had just had a conversation in Germany with some colleagues, and we were talking about the impact of the digital age and how print is changing. And in my opinion, print as a medium is not changing. It has such a rich culture, but the way, and this is what you described, the way we do the concept for creating print, how we do the logistics, how we use print is changing dramatically. And I think you in your new position, you have a good feeling for and a good spirit for how to innovate innovative business. I think that's a challenge, because you have already reached such a high level compared to let's say the normal typical commercial printer. You are so advanced already, but that's not enough. And I like your approach to think forward. Thank you for sharing your insight.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Well, Hayco, on that note, thank you for the inspiring conversation. And I'm convinced that your story will inspire many and make them also reflect on the future of print and its opportunities and the challenges, of course. So after this conversation today, Andreas, I think we can say that we believe even more strongly in our statement. Print is back, bringing tangible emotion and joy into an increasingly digital world. So guys, thank you again. Make sure to tune in again next time. Until then, cheers. Thank you, Hayco. Thank you, Andreas. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Hope to see you soon, maybe in Eindhoven.
Yes, more than welcome. See you soon. And thanks for the good conversation, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.